Hey everyone, it's Bonnie from Healthy Meals. I am going to make some steak, and here's my favorite marinade. It's a beer. Someone left a gluten-free beer here, so we're going to see if that works. I'm not quite sure exactly what the beer does, but we're going to put our thin steaks in. I got these, oops, no splashing. Got these puppies on sale, and what I like to do is I like to marinate all my meat together. And then, you know, if I have different recipes for it, whatever marinade I have, I can use for it. So we've got some beer. I'm going to throw some Worcestershire sauce in here. And then we're going to mix it. And then we're going to let it sit while we create some veggies over here. So here's what we're doing. We're going to make some steak and some sauteed mushrooms and onions. And I know y'all heard me say I do not eat mushrooms. Well, I don't. But I'm going to put mushrooms in this recipe, and I'll have someone else eat them. So we're going to let this sit, as you can see, nice and foamy. So we'll put that to the side. Basically what we're looking to do is have it marinated a little bit, soak in, get some juices flowing. Alright, so here's some olive oil. Let's put some right there because we need it for the veggies. I took a white onion and chopped it up, so we're going to put the white onion in here. We're going to put a little garlic in here. And then we're going to get those mushrooms out, and we're just cooking them all. Whatever I'm supposed to cook, whatever. I'm not going to eat the puppies, so I'm just going to make them all. And attention everybody, whoever comes over first gets to eat them. So, alright, we got some of those mushrooms going. See if we can add some more. I think we can really add some onions in this and get some flavoring going. Because the onions are going to caramelize. The garlic's going to go in there. You can see I chopped it into big pieces because I like the flavor of onion. But I don't like to eat them. So, I'm not quite sure why. Just, I don't know. One of those things. Now, because I don't eat mushrooms, I bought my mushrooms pre-sliced, pre-washed, ready to roll, which is good. So basically we're just going to saute our onions, add a little bit of garlic, then we get a couple cloves going. Now I don't know if y'all have seen this, the trick to peeling your garlic cloves. You see? Oh, can't see all the way over there. So, we're going to bring you over here. Let me show you the trick. This does not end in someone getting cut, by the way. So you have your garlic clove there, just like that. Nice, wide, thick knife. Punch it. And look. Peels. Right out. So if you're not lucky enough to have a handy dandy Pembrokeshire garlic press that peels the garlic for you, you just take a couple of these puppies and pound them. And I always make sure I have one side ended, and I've got a fist so I don't have anything on the side of the knife. And that's it. It just peels right off. Cracks that shell and voila. There you go, garlic. Alright, we put a lot of onion in there, so we're going to get one more clove going. And don't be afraid to mess up your counter. Pounding on it with your fist is not going to do much. Just so you know. Alright, so let's go back to our skillet over here. I love when they start to turn brown. They look so pretty. Now, the trick with this, when you have onion and it's making you tear up, is supposed to be a little bit of lemon juice. You can also, according to the movie The Help, You can chew on it or hold a matchstick between your teeth, I think is the trick. My sister and I tried it. I don't know if it really works or if it's, you know, in your head, but, you know, if it works for you, that's all that matters. Now, what happens, and the reason you use garlic and onion and all this with your steak, is the amount of flavors this puts in the meat is just phenomenal. So we're going to cut that out. There we go. Alright. It is stir fry time. Let's mix all this stuff together. So we've got some onions, we've got some pepper. What we're going to do is we are going to take this and we're going to put our steak, once this onion and this garlic thing is all ready, we're going to put our mushrooms in this, and then we're going to put this to the side. We're going to make our steak, we're going to put some pepper on it, and then we're going to make a sauce that has the onions, the garlic, and the mushroom, which includes the juice from the cooked steak. We don't want our steak to get cold while we're doing this, which is why we're making them after we make all these vegetables. Because as you can see, it takes a little bit of time to make these vegetables, especially when you're using big chunks. As the onions get about halfway done, that's when you throw your mushrooms in. And these are, hold on, what does this say? Monterey mushrooms. Texas mushrooms. You can tell because they are Texas size. In case anyone's wondering, that means I get to take them out. So there you go. Alright, so when you can tell when this is all done, the joy of not being a mushroom eater is you can tell when it's all done because the onions are caramelized, meaning they're brown. So I will be back when the onions are caramelized because it's going to take a few minutes. So we'll see. Okay, you guys, so we've got our mushrooms, we've got our caramelized onions. We're going to set this to the side and we're going to start making some steak. Let's get a bowl. No. Let's set a plate to the side. Make it easier. Anything that is easier to drop back into the pan, that's the goal. Alright, so now we've got some of the flavoring there from the veggies, right? So what we want to do is grab a fork. There we go. Grab a fork so you can stick some of these steaks on here. Let's get these thin steaks cooking. Now these are very thin, so they don't take very long to cook. Good part about thin steaks is they're almost perfect size. They're almost 3 ounces to the T. So as you can see, kind of quieted down the sizzle a little bit. It'll bring it back up without a problem. So there we go. So we can fit 5 of these in here. We've got 2 more left. So let's pull this one back up. We'll do it in 2 separate stages. Alright. So we've got a little bit of beer in there. We want that to cook off. We're going to cook both sides. Basically the only thing we're going to sprinkle on this is pepper. Alright. So, I want you to grab your pepper and just sprinkle away. Coat every bit of it. Now if you have a pepper grinder, this is the perfect opportunity to use it. So we're going to basically fry both sides. There is no oil left in it because it's in the vegetables basically. So once we have some grill lines going and a couple other things going, we're going to finish out these steaks, use the juices from the steak to create our sauce that's going to go over it. I know it sounds like a lot of steps. It's actually not that big of a deal. It takes a short amount of time. So we stir-fried the vegetables, we're cooking our steaks, and then we're going to do our sauce. So I'm going to go back to cooking the steak. I will show you when they're done. Okay guys, so steak is finishing up. I don't know if you can hear it, but it looks delicious, just as is. So we're going to finish these up. We're going to cook the other 2, and then, or the other 3, and then we're going to put some mushroom sauce on the entire thing. I'm going to use a glass plate because that holds the heat of the steaks. Alright, and we are going to cover these that are already finished. So, we will come back when all the steaks are done and we're ready to start serving up some sauce for them. So it's ready for some steak with mushroom wine sauce, minus the wine. Tastes actually very good. So we're going to finish these up a little bit. Not much left to them. There we go. I love it when the steak has those marks on it. You know, the brown part where you can tell it was just cooked. And it's delicious and it's amazing and yada yada yada. You know what I'm talking about. This one doesn't want to leave the pan. Alright, so this nice hot pan, we have to turn the heat down a little bit. Alright, we are going to take half a cup. There we go. Half a cup of beef broth. Okay. A tablespoon of flour, a little bit of mustard, a little bit of Worcestershire. So let's get that going. You want, oops, about a tablespoon or so of that. Same thing with the Worcestershire. Little trick I tell my clients, if you're ever cooking turkey and you want to fake that it is, you want to fake a turkey burger or something along those lines, grab a little Worcestershire. It works magic, total magic. Alright, so basically what you want to do with this is just stir it until it's all combined. You can't see the onion, or I mean you can't see the flour, you can't see the mustard. None of it. Everything is just combined. Looks nice and smooth. No lumpiness. If necessary, where is... I'm going to get my whisk going in this. Sometimes what will happen is if you have some of that lumpiness, a lot of times if you use a whisk real quick, it works really well. Alright, so here's what we got going. Now, if you have wine, you would add about 2 tablespoons in this, okay? So we're going to get rid of a lot of these little chunky marks. There we go. Now, we don't want it really to bubble this much. We want it to cool down as much as possible, which is why I'm stirring it as much as I am. The more you stir it, the cooler and the more dispersed the temperature is. Okay? So now, having this little bit, what do you think we're going to do with it? We are going to add those veggies right back in. Alright? So we've got our mushrooms over there. We've got our onions. We're essentially going to put them back in here and coat them with our beautiful sauce. Just like this. Okay? Now, ladies, you want a dinner that the guys are going to go gaga over? This would be the one. It is wonderful for a date meal, even for someone like me who does not eat mushrooms. Alright, so here's what we got. Ready to see it all put together? Typically what you would do is you would let this cool a little bit. Since we actually don't need to do that, here's what we have. So one of these steaks is about 1.5 ounces right there. So we need 2 steaks. Alright. I like to put them just like this. And then take our mushroom sauce and pour it over top. Like so. Now, depending on how much you like mushrooms, that determines how delicious this recipe tastes. Now, I personally am going to take the mushrooms and the onions out of the sauce and just eat the sauce on the steak because it's just amazing and delicious. You have a serving of vegetables. Actually, you have a couple servings of vegetables because of the onions and the mushrooms that are in here. You've got your protein under here. A lot of flavor, not a lot of salt, not a lot of calories. It's just amazing. It's delicious. And I am telling you, this is a man's kind of a meal. So if you have a date, ladies, this is the way to go. So I hope you enjoy your meal, and I will see you all tomorrow.